Welcome back YouTube. My name is Dennis Panuta for tutorials.eu. In this video we are going to have a look at arrays. Array is a variable type which allows us to have multiple values within the same variable. And this is very powerful. This is used in programming or in video games quite a lot. So let's have a look at how to create one. We can simply create an array this way. So we say which data type the array has to use, or which data type it has to contain. So let's say I want to have an integer array, so an array of numbers. Then I give it a number. Then I give it a name, so prime num, for example, prime num, which are prime numbers, so numbers which can only be divided by themselves or by 1. And then we simply use the new word. So we use new here. Then we use new and the data type once again. Then we enter in square brackets how many entries we want to have in that array. And then finally within curly brackets we enter the values. So for example 2, 3, 5, 7 and 11. So this would be, or this is an array of prime numbers, of 5 prime numbers to be precise, and those prime numbers are 2, 3, 5, 7 and 11. Now in order to, for example, get one of those values, so let's say we want to get one of those values from that array, let's call it my num, and we would simply access the prime num, and then in square brackets we tell it which index, so at which position within the array we want to have the value. So from which position do we want to have the value? So it says here at int index, so that means at index 0 we have the 2, at index 1 we have the 3, at index 2 we have the 5, and so forth. So it starts counting with 0 as programming languages generally do. So computers don't start with 1, 2, 3, 4, they start with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So if let's say I want to get the third number within my array, so I just say prime num 3, and that would be 0, 1, 2, and 3. So that would be the 7. In order to see if that's actually true, let's debug that. So debug log my num.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and like the video.
Now if you decide to change a value within an array, we can do it that way. So prime num at the position, for example 0, so at the first position, which means at this 2 position, I want to change the value to 13. So I can simply access it that way. So if you want to access an array, you can use it that way. And as you can see here, it's the same procedure. But if you want to override it, you can enter the name, and then in square brackets, you enter the index that you want to override, for example, with the number 13. And now let's debug that as well. So debug.log at the position, so prime num at position 0. Now let's test that. So let's save the script and let's go back to Unity, and we can see here 7 and 13 are returned. So 7 is this one here. So int my number is 7 because it's at the third position, which means at the index 3, it's not really the third position. As I said, it starts with 0, then 1, 2, and 3. So 7 is index 3, and that's what was returned. And now we override our array at the index of 0 with 13, and that is returned with this statement here. All right, so we can't only use that with integers. You can create arrays of any data type that there is. So for example, we could also use string here, where we save names, and it's a new string of, and then I enter the names. So for example, Joe and Michael. Now I get an error here, and that has to do with the data type. So this Joe, this is not a string, it's considered a variable because it's just a name without exclamation marks. So we need to add those around Joe. So let's do that. And around Michael as well. So let's do that as well. Okay, so now you know how to create arrays, and in the next video we will have a look at for loops. So see you there. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please leave a like, and if you have any questions or suggestions, then leave a comment, and of course don't forget to subscribe. And by the way, if you really love the content and you would like to have more of it, or pretty much all of it, then of course check out the link in the description to my whole course. See you in the next video.
We'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon, turn us to thousands.